Let's talk about the games happened on the 7th Friday. We had 8 games. Let's jump right into it. The first game is the Spurs lost to the Sixers. The Spurs, they got hit with COVID. I think they one of the few teams that no COVID until last week when Devonte Murray got it, and then everybody started getting it. Derrick White is gonna be out. Dwight, he was a bit sell high. Now he's in the COVID protocol. Uh, Devonte Murray came back, played super well. The guy just being a beast this year, really increased all the counting stats. Efficiency is still not great, but counting stat wise has been really good. Murray, let's see, since he's only played one game on the season, 15th ranked player. 9 assists, 2 steals. 2 steals might be a little bit high. Played 33 games and point 4 blocks as well, while only shooting 44% from the field and 70% from the free throw line. So instead of that top, 15, 16, he's got to be the guy with probably the worst efficiency when it comes to both the field goal and the free throw. Like guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's a bad free throw shooter, 69% on higher volume. Of course, he's ranked lower than him. So Devonte has been pretty good, amazing, and even more so if you ignore the efficiencies. With Derrick White, with other guys out, who on the Spurs do you want to pick up? Probably nobody. Jacob Porter, is rostered already everywhere. Brian Forbes, if you want points and threes, but that's about it. All the other guys, they're not really good fantasy players. Now on the Spurs team, their defensive scheme, they're a great defensive team, but they don't generate that many steals. I mean, Devonte Murray is a great steals guy, but all the other guys, they don't really generate that many steals and blocks too. So you could leave all the other guys on the waiver wire. If Thaddeus Young is playing, if he were playing, 25 minutes of him could be useful in category leagues. For the Sixers, Matisse Thybulle played 33 minutes. That's great. Danny Green, he's not gonna get 33 minutes a night when all the guys are full strength. He's really good defensively, but Doc Rivers got when Tyrese Maxey comes back, they're gonna put Danny Green. They're just gonna mess around with his minutes. So if anytime he goes off and have 37 minutes, try to do a 2-for-1 to see if you can get any value for him. Tobias Harris he's been playing well lately. Another decent game with no defensive stature. While Embiid, I think it's like 7 or 8 games straight where he scored 30 plus points. So he's 100% back, fully healthy. Looks like he's gonna still miss some back-to-back games, but quietly he's been really good in the last 2 weeks. 14th ranked player. Didn't really miss a game, so can't really complain. A bad free throw night for him. 11 for 15, but that's gonna happen with him. Those high volume free throw shooters. Some nights they're gonna shoot 70%. Some nights they're gonna shoot 90%, 195%. So, but like if you're on the wrong side of the, if you're on the wrong side that week, you might struggle, right? 80% free throw shooter could go shoot 100% for like a week, and then the next week shoot 70% or 65%. Those things are possible. Otherwise, great. Plus 26. Seth Curry with Tyrese Maxey out. He's gonna have a higher usage. 7 assists here. But try to sell any of them. Try to sell Seth Curry especially. He's the only guy that would have consistent season-long values. Danny Green came back. If the minutes is there, you could stream him for some defensive stats. And Andre Drummond, 13 minutes, so consistent, getting the counting stats. 6 rebounds, 3 steals. Had an alright game. But Sixers, quietly, they've been winning some games. Let's see. 5th seed. They won 5 straight. And the Bulls right now are the first in the Eastern Conference. They won 8 straight. But seeding don't matter as much. I guess you want to avoid either Nets or the Bucks in the first round. I think everything else, obviously the Bulls are very good. But for a young team, I don't know. I would still take the Nets or the Bucks over the Bulls if they play in a 7-game series. A couple factors, obviously. They they got best players on their teams, and they're more experienced. Regular season was a different story. The next game is the Utah Jazz. Their entire team was on the injury report. Well, their entire team didn't play, basically. What the? They kept it close, I suppose, 108, 122. Whiteside would be a good stream for yesterday, but I think he was listed questionable until like very close to tip-offs. But really not really fantasy relevant. All the guys gonna be back next game probably. It was a back-to-back for them. First leg of the back-to-back. They have another game today. Yeah. So I think we could just ignore the Jazz this game since everybody is out. And then for the Raptors, the minute distribution, even though this game was out of control, again, give VanVleet, Gary Trent, OG, Siakam pretty high minutes, around 30 to 35 minutes. And VanVleet, he's good, but not this good. Try to sell high on him. 37 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 9 for 9 from the free throw line. It was against a bad Jazz team. But VanVleet, in the last 2 weeks, he's had a second-ranked player in the last 2 weeks. He's had a good stretch. The last averaging 31 points, 7.2, 5 threes, 5.4 threes, 4.8 rebounds, 7.2 assists. All those gotta come down. I don't know what's gotten into him the last couple of weeks, but expect the numbers to fall off. He's still great, top 15, top 20 player, depending on how many defensive stats he gets. I think last year he averaged like 1.92 steals, so that's gonna help his value a lot. But this season so far is like around the 1.5. So, and last year he was averaging crazy amount of blocks as well. Let's see, where's VanVleet? He's a seventh round player. Yep. If you can get Cat, LaMelo Ball, James Harden, you do it. Even Devonte Murray, even a guy like Devonte Murray. This season he's averaging 1.7 steals and 0.45 blocks. One thing he really improved is his field goal, actually, 44% on the season. Last year he was like 39%, 40%. So good so far, but those are the trades I'll be targeting. Maybe do a 2-for-1 to see if we can get like the top tier ones. The tier 1 thing is Jokic, is Steph Curry. I don't think I want to add LeBron in there yet. But Curry and Jokic, Curry's been struggling. So if you can do VanVleet plus somebody for Curry, that's something I really try to do. I think it will be a really good time to do it. It makes sense. Curry being struggling, VanVleet being super hot. That would be a perfect sell high and buy low. You obviously want to throw somebody in there. Like I would throw in like a top 60, 70 type of player. Maybe even 50, to be honest. Because I think value-wise, Curry is so much better than Fred. Although lately that has not been the case. Gary Trent had 3 blocks, no defense, no steals. Let's see if he can continue the 2 steals, right? That's going to be majority of his value coming from. OG started at the center, great game, 22 points, 3 steals. But this game, it was against the Jazz team without all the starters, so I don't know. Offensively, everybody had it going other than Scotty Barnes, I suppose. And Siakam shot 6 for 16. Also had 2 steals and a block. Siakam has been a beast. His free throw was bad, but I'll try to sell high as well. Try to sell him high. If I can get a top 30 player, like if I can do an Anthony Edwards, those are the things I will be doing. Also fairly inefficient. But the counting stats should be more. Like he should have more counting stats than Pascal Siakam. Scotty Barnes, also great. The 6 assists is great. Second assist guy on this team. He's a guy that could contribute multiple categories. Efficiency was an issue with him. 1 for 2 from the free throw line. But I like him in fantasy. He does provide a lot of stuff. And Chris Boucher still got 20 minutes. If you got him, he still has a little bit value. If you need the blocks, you could hold on to him, stream him. But if the Raptors got a bad schedule and you're trying to win this week, you have to move on from him. Don't think too much. The next game is the Wizards. Lost to the Bulls again. This time they got Spencer Dinwiddie back. Played okay. 9 for 9 from the free throw line is great. 2 steals is great for Spencer. 18 points. If he's out on the waiver wire, I would pick him up and just see where things go. He was horrible all season. With Bradley Beal out a couple games, he played really well. and let's see what happens. Let's see what pick him up and see where things go. Bradley Beal was horrible, minus 18, a team worst, but he shot the ball pretty well. 26, 6 assists and a steal, 2 threes and 6 for 6. I mean, efficiency wise, it was great. But with Spencer Dinwiddie out, you would expect the assist numbers to dip a little bit. And he only took 14 field goals as well. He was taking 20 plus field goals when Spencer Dinwiddie was out. So we'll see. But Beal lately has been great. He has been great. Daniel Gafford, try to sell high on him. Montrezl Harrell, Thomas Bryant, they're going to be back. And he might just go back playing 23, 24 minutes a night. Kyle Kuzma, 21 points, 2 steals and a block, 11 rebound. Also try to sell high on this guy. He's been really good the last 2 weeks. Had like scoring wise and rebound wise, 73rd ranked player in the last 2 weeks. He's with this guy. The ranking is not going to be great because he's shooting 72% from the free throw line on like pretty high volume. But over the last 2 weeks, he's averaged 24 points and 10 rebounds. So good time to sell him high. Try to do a 2-for-1 to get a top 50 player. KCP plus like Wendell Carter Jr. or some, maybe a Fred Wagner. Do those type of trades. Top 80, 90, top 90 guys to get a top 50 player. And then with all the guys back, Danny Advia was getting huge minutes. Now he only get 20, so we could move on from him. He's a decent guy that gets a bunch of defensive stats. But now let's with the guys back, we could move on from him. For the Bulls, another great win. They won 8 straight. I mean, damn it, they're too good. Caruso still out. And Kobe White still getting 32 minutes. So obviously the shooting that has been unbelievable. But I think if he's out down the waiver line, need points and threes, you just pick him up and see where things go. Next game he could have, the minutes is there. Next game he could just have a bad game, have a dud. I would just hold on to him. And then watch his minutes. If Caruso comes back, if you don't need the points and threes, you can move on from him. His ranking is not gonna be great. I can already see it. Mainly just give you points and threes, but he could probably do it better than Jordan Clarkson if he gets 30 minutes a night. He could realistically average 17 points. The Bulls got a lot of weapons on this team as well, but he's a guy that could come off the bench and just start firing shots away. So, probably not a lot of the value is not going to be great because very bad defensive stats, but the scoring upset is there, especially if guys coming in and out of the lineup, getting hurt or whatever. DeRozan did not have the best game. Vucevic, the rebound numbers is super solid and have 4 steals here, 7 assists. He's back, top 25, top 30 guy. If he struggles, which he has been all season shooting the ball. But he started doing like all the other areas. Zach LaVine, 27 points. Like the points is nice, don't get me wrong. And his ranking is high because he's shooting the ball super well, making a lot of free throws. But like all the peripheral stats, like he's not a guy that like next year I want to take in the late second or early third. These are the range he was taking, like maybe around pick 25 to 30. I don't think I want to do that next year. I don't know. Because he just doesn't provide, think about in category leagues, what team would you like to build out with Zach LaVine? Right? Do you want to go big man lineup? Do you want to go guard? Or do you want to go efficiency route? He doesn't really fit in any of because he doesn't have, you got to have at least one, when I assess players, you got to have at least one category, either steals or blocks. You got to have one of those. Otherwise, as you build out your team, he's just going to be that awkward guy. Then maybe another route is try to win both efficiencies and then scoring threes. But you still need, I think you need at least one category out of the steals and blocks. And he provides none of that for a second round or third round player. That would be pretty. And on top of that, he doesn't really provide rebound and assists as well. So if I drafted Zach LaVine in category leagues, I'll be pretty disappointed, to be honest. Even though the points and efficiency has been really, really nice. Lonzo Ball, I'm perfectly fine with him. 6 threes, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 18 points. Probably a sell high. I want to say he's been beasting. Lonzo, even like before he got put into the COVID protocol, he was like crazy, like top 20 player, 31st ranked player. Top 30. Like realistically, he could be top 30 player. But I think that will be his ceiling, to be honest. Because he does get a lot of defensive stats, sure. But like his shooting numbers are an issue, and he doesn't really score a lot of points. So if you can get like a top 20, top 25 player, those are the things like maybe try to do. Like if I can trade him for, Anthony Edwards is not a top 30 player, but yeah, maybe trade a player that, like, if you can get a Darius Garland, I would do it pure value wise, but again, it depends on what you need for your team. If you don't need the points, Lonzo is super good. Pair him up with Draymond Green, that type of player. You're gonna have a good team. You're gonna have a good time. All right, I spent too much time talking about the Bulls players. Let's move on to the next game. The Dallas Mavericks, with no Doncic, who cares? Doesn't matter. When you play the Rockets, they were great with all the guys out. They were winning games. Now they're just getting blown out every single game. Dorian Finney-Smith played just 23. I mean, yeah, all the starters played because the game was out of reach. It could be a hold. Maxi Kleber could be a hold as long as Porzingis is out. Jalen Brunson, another opportunity to sell him. 10 assists, 15 points, but I think unless you're a taco league, everybody knows that Jalen Brunson is not, like, he needs to be rostered, but he's not some kind of like, top 50, 60 player. That's when, let's see if Doncic is out. And Doncic has been disappointing this season. Even when he played, he has not been good. And he's missed a bunch of games as well. All right. And then Mavericks, they're really pretty boring in fantasy. Nobody really is that interesting on this squad. Maxi Kleber is an interesting fantasy player, just because he offers the blocks. But with Porzingis back, he's not gonna get close to 30. For the Houston Rockets, let's see. All the guys play a few minutes again. Christian Wood, he got his 20 points, 3 for 7. He's been really bad. This is not a guy that I want to draft early next year. If he stayed at the Rockets, who knows? Maybe next year, all of a sudden, they say, hey, we're going to give the minutes to Şengün. How about you just come off the bench? This is his, second season with the Rockets. He's got the usage. He's got the opportunity. He also maybe can't blame it all on him because, the guard play on the Rockets is not particularly solid. But you could blame him for his bad free throws. So if you ever got him, you got to think about punting free throws as well. A steal and a block is okay. Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green, nobody really played well. You could still hold them for the up. Well, I don't know about upside. You just know their efficiency is horrible, but the counting stats, Kevin Porter Jr. sometimes could go off, get 10 assists. Scoring wise, we know what he did a couple years ago where he scored 50 points. Those days, like, he was an offensive-minded player. But I don't know what happened with him this year. He's just trying to be that point guard. He's not a point guard. And the Rockets, are using him as a point guard. So last year he averaged 16.6 points in 32 minutes with the Rockets. Only played 23 games though. And one of the games he had like 50 points. And last year he shot 53% from the field, which is not great. But this year he's shooting 36. He shot 73% from the free throw line. This year he's shooting 61%. Like 61% on 3 attempts. That's hurting your free throw a lot. This year he really increased his steal numbers. Went from 0.7 to 1.3. This is the only thing he improved on in category leagues. Everything else got worse. But you still hold him, hoping he could improve on the conditions that, hey, your team is punting a few categories. Otherwise, try to trade him. Jalen Green also 12 points in 25 minutes. Gareth Matthews is a great glue guy. But now with all the guys back 25 points, he's not fantasy relevant. Playing 25 minutes a night, I think. All right, let's go to the next game. The Timberwolves beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. A beatdown, 30-point win. So nobody played high minutes other than D'Lo. His best game in a while now, 27 points, 12 assists, and 2 steals. And he went 11 for 12. I guess that's why the Oklahoma City Thunder lost by 30. Really insane game from him. Anthony Edwards, 24 points, 7 assists, a steal and a block, 6 rebounds, 6 threes. He's a guy that every single counting stat he brings, it's just the efficiency is an issue. He could work on his free throws over the summer. If he become like 85% free throw shooter, he can move inside that top 20. Karl Anthony Towns did a bit of everything. Great game for Cat as well. And Jaden McDaniels and Jared Vanderbilt, they have this weird lineup where they started both guys because Patrick Beverley was out. But let's not worry about Jaden McDaniels. If Vanderbilt is playing, Vanderbilt took a lot of rebounds away from Cat. Come on, man. You got to let Cat get his 16 rebounds, really good, 3 steals, 11 points. He's a must-roster guy. If he's out there on the waiver wire, in category leagues especially, you want to go pick him up. And Malik Beasley, Jalen Noel, like all the other bench guys all came back, so they're going to have zero value moving forward. You could just drop them and stream other guys. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, not a great game for anybody. Shea didn't score a lot of points, but 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block, I guess, is nice. Shea, for a guy that's getting drafted in the second or third round, he has not, counting stat-wise is okay, but efficiency-wise, not great. Hopefully he will improve. He should be like a top 40 player to me. But ranking-wise, he may not get there because he's shooting the ball pretty poorly. He's not a great free throw shooter. Well, he's decent, like 81, 82, but, in order for him to be, to help his ranking, he could be like 85, 86 plus. Then, his free throw is making a difference to a team. And defensively, he's all right, like getting one steal and like 0.7 blocks. That's okay. That's acceptable. But just want to see him do better. Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey has been great over the last 2 weeks. He had one triple-double. One game he grabbed like 18 rebounds. Maybe that's not within 2 weeks. But he had like double-digit rebound in a couple games. Still a must-roster guy. Another one of those guys, ranking-wise, he's really bad because he turned the ball over a lot. He shoots like 39%. And his free throw is also not great, but counting stat-wise. So like if you got an efficient team, you just hate the 3 turnovers he gives you every single game. Try to sell him. Try to move him to a team. There's somebody in your league must love Josh Giddey, this type of players, for sure. Good rebounding guard, like pair him up with Devonte Murray, Russell Westbrook, like assists, rebounds, you get it all, right? Jermaine Robinson, Earl, 25 minutes. Yeah, I don't know why they're still going back to him. But yeah, has not played well. Aaron Wiggins is interesting. 13 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals. He's been getting some huge minutes. Not providing some crazy numbers, but a guy to stream for sure. If OKC got a good schedule. Lou Dort had 18 points. And with all the guys back, Kendrick Williams, you could drop him. And Darius Bazley now only getting 15 minutes. I think it's the right choice. I don't think he's a NBA starter. He took way too many. Beginning of the season, the guy took way too many shots. He should come off the bench, play 20, 25 minutes, block some shots. That even helped his fantasy game as well. All right, let's go to the next game. The Sacramento Kings lose. I mean, it's not like the coaching change really helped them, right? The Kings in the last 10, 4-6. It was not like the coaching change did anything at all. But they could make the play. There's a chance. The Spurs right now hold it. They're kind of close with them. But they're a young team. So in the regular season, you would expect them to try a bit hard to win every single game. I do want to point out that, if you got Tyrese Halliburton, you're probably frustrated. With De'Aaron Fox out, he was like a top 10 player. So if you sold on him, high on him, congrats. But just in the last 2 weeks, still 37th ranked player. To me, he's a top 40 player. But if you sold high on him, like if you did like 2 for 1 to get a top 20 player, a top 20 player is like guys like Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, right? Those are Devonte Murray. Those are pretty elite players, top 20 players. If you do Tyrese Halliburton plus like a top 70, 80 player to get a top 20 player, then it's great. De'Aaron Fox is obviously impacting him. This game only 29 minutes, 28 minutes for whatever reason, 14 points, 6 assists. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, with De'Aaron Fox around, they just hurting each other's value, I suppose. De'Aaron Fox actually had a decent game, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. If you can get rid of De'Aaron Fox for a top 30 player, like absolutely do it. I think his production is going to be up and down because you got a Tyrese Halliburton next to you. Over the years, you could have all the points and assists. Now, if Tyrese Halliburton has it going, the boy is going to be in his hands. Damian Jones here, that's why it's not like he played well even in 25 minutes. He had 4 fouls in 7 minutes, so let's not stream him. Marvin Black, you're not interested, and Harrison Bombs. He's been a bomb since the early hot start. Not great. You could hold on to him, you could drop him. I think either way is okay, depending on what your team needs. And Buddy Hield got 27 minutes. What are you going to do? I think he's too good to drop. He's a guy in the playoffs, you don't need the threes. You could get rid of him. In the playoffs, of course. For now, you just have to hold. And hope he turns it around. For the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic. What a great game. 33 points, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. 10 rebounds, 7 assists. But weirdly, 4 for 8 from the free throw line. Jokic, efficiency-wise, this year has not been great, which is why he's not the number 1 ranked player. He should be. He should be better than LeBron. He should be better than Curry. If you can do LeBron plus somebody for Jokic, absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. He's shooting 76% from the free throw line this season, worse than LeBron. Guess what percentage is LeBron shooting from the free throw line? 78%. Yeah, I don't know what to say. He should be an 80% free throw shooter. So if you can do LeBron plus somebody for Jokic, I would do it. Like, I would do LeBron plus the top, 60 player or 70 player for Jokic. I think Jokic is that much better than LeBron. In fantasy, of course. So other than Jokic, who else played well? Monty Morris getting 30 minutes, but pretty boring player. He gave you 4 or 5 assists and 12 points every single game and nothing else. He even went 2 for 5 from the free throw line this game. Will Barton, 10 points, 6 assists, and a steal. Also, not really giving us eye-popping stats. Aaron Gordon, same thing. And you look at the bench, Campazzo is now coming off the bench. I think he's a guy 25 minutes, 7 assists, is still in a block. That's not bad. You could stream him. Maybe you could probably have better value streaming that spot. So not a must roster. But if you need assists and some steals, you go to him. All right, let's go to the next game. The Atlanta Hawks. Lakers beat them, but I don't know how much it means. Lakers they've been on a tear. They won their last 3 games. I think for them it means a lot. Given where they were, I think they lost 6 straight games or something like that. So this is a great way for the Lakers. For the Atlanta Hawks, they got their guys back. John Collins is back. Bogdanovic is back. Bogdanovic, if you want to pick him up, sure. But just know that the guy's production is very up and down. Not consistent. 15 points, 4 threes, and a steal. Trae Young, another decent game from an accounting stat perspective, but had 9 turnovers. Kevin Huerter, you could also start, grab him if he's out on the waiver wire. When DeAndre Hunter comes back, then some of those wing guys' value might drop further. For now, Huerter and Bogdanovic are both fine to have. Cam Reddish with everybody back now play 13 minutes. DeLong, Gallinari. If you have any one of those guys, you could all drop them because Herder is back, Bogdanovic is back. I'll drop them. Clint Capella also left the game with an injury. If Capella end up missing games, we could look to stream Okongwu, who's has some upside, can get those defensive stats, but we'll see if Capella end up missing games. Then let's look at the Lakers. Malik Monk, wow, 29 points. He's been balling, so I don't trust it. If you can trade him for, where's Monk? Wow, 20th ranked player. If he's out down the waiver wire, obviously grab him, but I don't trust his production. I don't think he's going to be like a top 60 player even, to be honest with you. The last game, I don't know, however many games, obviously great. I just don't think he can sustain this. Look at his shooting numbers. He's shooting 56% in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, no way. No way, no how. And 90% from the free throw line. And 22 points and 4 threes here. All those, I don't think that's sustainable. But LeBron James playing at the center is working. So I wonder what happens when AD does come back. LeBron's production obviously going to fall off a little bit with AD back. But man, 4 steals, 3 blocks, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 32 points, and 5 for 5. He's shooting 78% from the free throw line this year. Is that his career high? Maybe in his early years. But that's got to be one of his best fantasy seasons ever so far. I don't know how many years LeBron has got to be the number 1 ranked player. I don't think he will finish as number 1 ranked player. But the stretch, the last, since AD went down, this stretch of games has been so good for LeBron. So if you got him in the 3rd round, you must be doing super well right now. Russell Westbrook, a triple-double. Well, he missed it by 1 point. This is textbook Russell Westbrook. Bad efficiency everywhere and had only 3 turnovers. I guess that's fine. And Taylor Horton Tucker and Carmelo Anthony both came out the bench, had 2 steals, 21 points and 17 points. Those are guys you could stream them. For Melo, it's points and threes. For Taylor Horton Tucker, I don't know. You just stream him to give you a little bit of everything. You just don't know what you're going to get out of him. Sometimes he will just give you absolutely nothing. But he played all right here as well. But this game was against the Atlanta Hawks, who, lost Clint Capella at some point of the game. So I don't know how much it really means. But a great win for the Lakers. And let's talk about the last game of the night. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Portland Trailblazers. Shouldn't be a surprise. Darius Garland is back, played well. 38 minutes, 26. Darius Garland, I look at him as I feel like I didn't talk about him enough. Like a top 40 player. Ranking wise, he may not be, but counting stat wise, super solid assist player, steals, free throws, threes, and points. So basically, give you all the guard stats. But obviously, he's not a bad field goal guy. I took a look at his stats. Like his field goal, you would think this guy is like a Fred VanVleet type of player, 41, 42. But on the season, he's actually shooting 47% somehow. So he doesn't really shoot like a lot of long twos, a lot of like in the paint layups, and then a lot of threes. So for him to shoot 47% is a bit high. I doubt he can do it all season, but he's not like a low 40s player. Maybe like 45, 44 is more realistic. But with all the guys out, he's gonna have a pretty good rest of the season. Lamar Stevens there, Isaiah Okoro was out. Jaron Allen, another easy double-double. Missed 1 shot and 2 steals. Lauren Markkanen, Evan Mobley started at the small forward. I don't know how much it means. Evan Mobley, 4 for 8 from the free throw line is not great, but 18 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. All those are pretty solid numbers. Top 40 player rest of the way. Lauren Markkanen. Also, the defensive stats is okay. Kevin Love finally has a bad game. Played 26 minutes, 7 rebounds and 8 points. He's still a hold. A bit sell high if he can still do it. After this game, maybe it will be tough. Cedi Osman is a guy we could look to stream. he could have provide some points and threes and some assists. And this is the first game for Rondo. If he's only going to play 60 minutes a night, he's not fantasy relevant. So I think we could move on from him. They're not going to play him huge minutes. It's the first game. If his minutes get up to 30 minutes, then we could think about, rostering him. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get that minutes. I think at this point, a good 20 minutes is enough for his workload. And let's talk about Portland Trailblazers. They're still without Damian Lillard. Is Damian Lillard coming back at all this season? We don't know. So, what are you going to do? And I think many people already talked about this. If you feel you want to gamble, you could trade for him. Like if you throw the owner a top 60, 70 player for sure, I think most owners, they're going to take it. Unless they just say, hey, fuck it. Because it's not really looking good. Like 90%. I don't know what the betting odds would be. There's definitely a bet out there. Like, is Damian Lillard going to play again this season? And it's not very high. The odds would be. So Anthony Simons is a must roster. 14.7 assists. A stream block. I mean, he's not going to be Damian Lillard, but he could be a top 50, 60 player. Without Damian Lillard. And Norman Powell, every single year, he finds a way to be a top 50 player. 5 for 8 from the free throw line is bad, but 19 points for threes. He's going to give you a lot of points in threes. And, with good efficiency. Yusuf Nurkic, 2 steals. And Larry Nance Jr. is also out. But I think, once he does come back, he's going to play 30 minutes a night on this team. So if he got an IR, I would hold him. Robert Covington in the short term going to have, a few more minutes, play well. 17 points, 8 rebounds, a steal and a block, and 5 threes. So Lord also needs to be rostered. I know he has not had a good season so far, but he needs to be rostered, and just have him and see where things go, right? If Larry Nance Jr. come back, he played 20 minutes, sure, move on from him. The rest of the guys are really not interested. And Nasa Little is another guy we could have. We'll be getting 30 minutes a night. See how many defensive stat he will get us, really. And that's it for all the games. I'll see you guys later.